$2,000, please.
Is there change? Now I will be taking that back.
Bought that to be the headset for my racing simulator, and I don't ever use it. Can you guess why? All I get to do with that thing is go reset boundaries or enter a credit card number or a new code. I think it's super important as a parent to make sure that your kids are able to have access to technology and be able to learn how to use it and grow, so that they're not left behind before they even have a chance to get started. Because whether people like me like to admit it or not, technology is only going to get more and more advanced in the workplaces, and that includes AI and all that stuff. So I feel like I'm doing a disservice to my kids. If I don't give them the opportunity to learn how to use it and implement it. But in the meantime, it is super annoying as a parent to have to help them learn. And I mean that because I go to do something, they're constantly like, Dad, I need your help with this. Dad, I need your help with this. But like I was saying, it's super important as a parent to sometimes remind yourself that your job is to teach them things. And yes, it can get really annoying. I gotta switch cameras, hang on. This one's too big. It's hitting everything. Here, look. So if I hold it anywhere in here, so when I normally am like this talking, this is the only angle I can do unless I'm like hitting that, and every time that hits the windshield or the mirror, you can hear it. So we'll use this one for now. It is your job as a parent to be available to teach your kids what's right, what's wrong, how to learn on their own, and not just parrot your thoughts, which I've said before. And for me, a lot of that is leading by example, because I don't want to be the do as I say, not as I do parent. And sometimes I fall into that trap. If you tell them not to smoke, you shouldn't. It goes for other things as well. There's things like tattoos. I tell them, you have to wait till you're 18. Not to get them and they're bad or anything like that. I'm just like, you have to wait till a certain age. With alcohol, I'm like, it is legal, but you have to wait till you're the correct age before you start partaking in that indulgence. And so if you start helping them follow the rules while developing independence, you start developing well-balanced children that can function in the world. So as a parent, it's your job to teach kids how to evolve and adapt. But I think it's also our duty to teach them how to push limits. And that's the part that gets annoying as a parent, but is vital for success later in life, especially if you're going to be any kind of entrepreneur or business owner. Because if you just follow the rules, it's really hard to get ahead. And I don't mean break the rules or the law, I mean push the envelope. That's how you learn new things, adapt, and develop new systems or ways to do what you're doing to be better than the next person. If you just keep following what you learned and not trying new things and growing and adapting, you're gonna kind of always be behind that person who's willing to take those risks and chances at developing and being better at what they do by learning from things. At least that's how I view it, and that's how I teach. And a lot of it comes from the mindset part that I can't say enough that having a growth mindset is the key to success in life, business, work, whatever you're doing. And that's how come I wrote a book about it. And then a lot of people from the book were saying, well, I don't know where to get started. You're telling me how important it is and how you developed it and tips and tricks or whatever, but I don't know where to start. So I did a workbook that was a 30-day guide on how to develop good habits in a growth mindset. And so I'll put a link below to where to go to buy it. That's fine. I'm just saying more the reason I say a growth mindset is so important and pushing the envelope and trying to develop new things. And how do they tie together? Well, if you're trying new things, you're going to make mistakes or fail a lot. And if you have the wrong mindset while you're failing, you're going to quit. But if you have a growth mindset with it, you're understanding that you're learning and growing and adapting. And it's not a failure unless you just continue to repeat it. So that's why they're always so important. It allows you as a business owner, if you have the right mindset, to keep moving forward and not start doubting yourself. Because that's another really important thing about being a business owner that I don't think enough people talk about, is having a healthy ego. Ego's not bad, in my opinion. Ego is needed in the business world. It is a necessity. Because if you're not going to believe in yourself, who is going to believe in you? If you can't convince somebody to work with you, why is anyone ever going to? Because if you don't believe it, they won't believe it. The difference is, and what most people attribute to ego and why it's not good, is it's arrogance. And as long as you're not arrogant and you're listening and growing and trying to learn something new and be better, that's just perfect. But if you're the person who is like, nope, I don't want to hear from you, I'm better at this than you, and you're not willing to listen, you're going to miss out on a lot, and that's because you're arrogant. You never want to lean to that arrogant side because nothing good comes from it. You have to be willing to listen and learn from anybody. There's always something you can learn from somebody. Super important for a business owner. If you truly want to be a business owner and not just an owner-operator, the key is to do almost none of the technician type of work. Because the more of that work you're doing, the less time you have to run your business. Think about it this way. If you had 3 businesses and you only did the job as business owner and none of the job as the technician, you could probably make at least as much as you made as being the owner-operator technician. And it would take the same amount of time. But the potential for growth in 3 separate businesses is considerably higher than just that one where you're doing all the day-to-day. To where I like, and I keep trying, I don't have a current good lineup of them because I also learn, and when something's not working, I leave. But it's mostly the parts that I'm not getting to work are my intake system. I am not being great with who I'm picking as business partners or employees. So that's my weakness that I'm working on, along with my sales. I've never had to sell. I've never really had to sell. I've always been really good at what I do. So my work sold itself. But as a business owner, like I said, my goal is to own more businesses and do less of the day-to-day technician work and do more of owning the business, running it, and making it run clean and healthy. Because I can tell you, when I just am involved on the ownership level, my business is considerably cleaner and runs better than when I'm involved doing the technician work. Because I don't have time to do the books and run the numbers and all that stuff because I'm too busy doing the work that gets paid. It's a good idea for you to make sure you're only putting in the time you need until you can hire that out as a business owner. And this is something I have to say to myself constantly, that I am saying to myself currently, because I am not doing this properly. And again, like I was saying, you don't want to be that parent or mentor or teacher that says things like, well, this is the right way to do it. I don't, but this is how you should. I'm not ever thinking do as I say, not as I do is ever an okay way to lead, teach, or parent. So I like these go for a drive, talk about business, life, mindset. So I'd like to know what you think. Do you think your mindset has that much of a sway over just your overall success in life? Do you think I'm crazy about that? Because for me, the second that I start dipping back into an unhealthy mindset, I notice a dip in the success of me as a parent, me as a spouse, me as a son, and me as a business owner, leader, mentor, all of that. So I constantly am doing work trying to ensure that mentally I am capable of handling everything that's thrown at me because that is the best way to succeed. And then when I couple that with making sure my work ethic is on point, and I am not slacking or being lazy or resting, in a sense. I'm keeping that momentum going. You become an unstoppable force, and that's really all you're looking for, is to be at your full potential all the time. And you don't compare your potential and your output to anybody else's. You maximize yours and what you do, and the rest will take care of itself. You never compare. There's a quote I saw: comparison is the thief of joy. And that's never more true than when it comes to mindset and success. Like, it's just the way it's got to be. I feel like, you know, some days I'm firing on all cylinders, taking huge steps forward, and then it slows down. That's okay. And then my friends, I'll see, and it's like, while my stuff's slowing down, it seems like they're just taking huge leaps forward. And then if I start to feel that jealousy or frustration, you know that's an unhealthy place to be. You got to reset, refocus, because your time will come as long as you're living your life the right way. And so that's how I view most of what I do in business, as far as leading by example. And it's worked very well for me so far. That's one of the first philosophies I teach when I mentor people, is you got to make sure you do what you think's right and not compare. But ultimately, all of that gets significantly easier if you have a growth mindset. So you must protect that mindset and develop it and keep it moving forward, so that you never falter and take steps backwards and stop. All your momentum's dead. And if you kill your momentum, it's really frustrating to have to build it back to where you were just because you took your foot off the gas. All right, that's all I got on this one. See you on the next one.